Liam, it's difficult to get something out of a game when you're 3-0 down after 50 odd minutes.
Yeah, and 1-0 down after 2 minutes. I think that's the and twofold. We can make excuses around not training, not being in match rhythm, whereas they are. You can make excuses for that, but ultimately, we have to start the game on the front foot, and when you concede after 2 minutes, you're not doing that. So, it's just a frustrating one today. Just players as well. They don't go out and intentionally not perform to a level. I think that's the thing I'm quite clear on, but it's a tough one to take.
Too many unforced errors all over the pitch.
Yeah, quality, but more so, I think the conviction element. I think that ultimately it's been around forever. The cliches of it comes down to both boxes, and we have a certain way that we want to try and get it to their box, and they obviously have a different way. And I think ultimately it comes back down to the bit at the end. And I thought too often we played into traps and played into areas where they wanted us to go, which just shifts the momentum in their favour. And when you're up against it and you're having a tough time, there's nothing wrong with sometimes relieving pressure by going over it and moving up the pitch, and we didn't do that well enough today.
First contact in both penalty boxes must have been, 70-30 in their favour, which makes it really difficult for your team.
Yeah, we knew it. I went to watch them last week. We'd done our work. We knew they were dangerous from wide areas, especially with the threats that they had. Like I say, really disappointing.
What do you have to build on from here? I mean, out of possession, is that something to be worked on?
Yeah, and in possession, I thought, quality. I think that two things. One is being hard to beat. It's real conviction with, if you're pressing, go with real intent. But it's also, then the quality in and around their penalty area to create and hurt yourself to get on the end of chances. And I think even before you even talk around the tactical element, it's really important. We stick together as a group. I think that's probably the biggest thing that for me we have to do now. When you're having a tough period, when you're not quite performing, you're not quite picking up the results. Everybody's disappointed in there. It's about sticking together now, and we've got a large number of games coming up where we've got an opportunity to change it.
Football's so much about confidence, isn't it? How do you lift those players in there?
I think it's twofold. I think they have to lift themselves and believe in themselves, and we have to lift them as well. But I think that it's on all of us to take responsibility. It's not a them and us. It's a collective. We have to stick together, and it's frustrating today because they trained so well this week. Some of the quality in training was excellent, and then you get to the game and it doesn't quite transfer. So I think that's the biggest thing is the players just believing in it, and having real conviction with all their actions in terms of whether it's running, whether it's pressing, whether it's with the ball. It's having real conviction, and that's on us as staff as well. We have to make sure that we really drive that, and we'll definitely be doing that this week.
They had a 3v2 in central midfield. Did you think about changing it at half time?
Yeah, we spoke around it, but ultimately I think you want to give the lads the opportunity to go and correct what wasn't good enough first half. And I actually thought the first 5-6 minutes, the second half we started okay. It was more in their half. We were more on the front foot. And then if you give away a cheap goal, you're always going to be up against it.
And then a crazy final 6 minutes or so. I think if you'd have got an equaliser there, it would have been unreal, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Again, I think what it does show, the lads didn't give up. They carried on fighting till the end. They carried on pushing, and they're behaviours that we're going to need, that are important. So again, I just said it in there. The beauty of League One is we get to go again Tuesday and Saturday and Tuesday. So we can't carry a hangover from today. Of course, we have to reflect. We have to go away, look at ourselves, look at the performance. Everybody, and then we have to make sure that we try and what wasn't right today. So we'll go away and we'll work hard this week.
We know it's an inexperienced lot in there. Is this where you need your Bradley Johnsons and your Dean Lewingtons and your Dan Harveys just to lift those other younger ones?
Yeah, we've got a core with the guys you mentioned, and I think it's Jamie come in. I think the characters in there is what do you do in tough times? You have to stick together, and I think that's ultimately what we have to do. And Brad came on. I thought he did that. He tried to have an impact. He tried to hurt the depth. He tried to impose himself on the game, which is what you have to do from minute one.
The supporters remained reasonably patient at the end there. The message for them, they're leaving the stadium today?
Yeah, of course. Look, the support's hugely appreciated, and we do our utmost throughout the week to be ready to go out and perform and put something that they can enjoy and be proud of. So I'm sure they're hurting like us, but sticking together is the most important thing right now. Is fans, players, staff, everybody's all in. We have to stick together and work through it ultimately.
Thanks. You see you mentioned it there, sometimes you felt like a little bit of a reluctance to have a go in the final third, but what it showed with those late 2 goals is that if you have a chance, you might as well have a pot shot.
Yeah, it comes down to both boxes again, right? I think that we had got into a couple of good areas first half, not enough. Which, yeah, I think the players just belief and confidence and just go for it. What have you got to lose? That's ultimately the biggest thing.
And of course, that's what the fans want to see as well, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you want to be entertained. You want to come and see your team have shots and score goals. So it was, like I said, the last 5 minutes is positive to take in terms of the quality is in there, but also the fact that the lads will fight together to the end.
Daniel Ogoke came off. Looked like he had a bit of a knock at the end there. How's he doing?
Yeah, he's okay. We've got to have a look at him. I haven't spoken to the medical staff yet. I think he's had a heavy period. Played 2 games while away with England, so there's some of the bits. When you're picking the team today, it's a tough one. When 3 of the guys returned back on Friday, you don't know to what level of work they've done, where they're at. So it's quite tough on that front. But hopefully he'll be okay.
Any news on Mo Isa and Tanai Watson's fitness and health?
Yeah, they're getting there. Still a good few weeks away. But in terms of they're progressing in the right direction, they're ticking off the boxes they need to. So yeah, hopefully, not going to be a million miles away.
So far this season, the Dons have more wins away from home than here. How important is it to try and get more points on the board here as soon as possible?
Yeah, I think it was similar last year. I think in terms of our away form. So I think we have to work real hard to make this place a difficult place to come. It's a beautiful stadium, but what you don't want is teams coming here and enjoying it, and I think that's the biggest thing we have to do. We have to, be really hard to beat. And I think when we talk about being hard to beat, it's what you do with the ball as well as without it. So, yeah, it's one of those. I think you don't. For me, when we turn up, the lads have to be at it, home or away.
Fairly well taken goals. Was it good to have that composure demonstrated at the end?
Yeah, the quality's in there. That's probably why the biggest feelings, frustration and disappointment is because I've seen it. I know the quality's in there. I get to see it up close regularly, so it's the group just really grabbing the game and taking responsibility, and us as a staff really pushing them to do that. So yeah, the goals were nice at the end.
Was it a little frustration that they didn't come 5-10 minutes sooner and have more time to try and give them more problems?
Yeah, of course, ran out of time ultimately. Yeah.